Guys, uh, welcome to our third lesson on collecting data. We've been talking about collecting data using questionnaire in particular. So when you want to find out something from a group of people, you write your questions in a questionnaire, then you give it out to them. Now, once you've given them out the questionnaire, they're going to give them back to you. And now what you want to do is to basically start processing your data. You want to transfer the data from the questionnaire to a table or another sheet whereby you can then analyze it. So today we're going to be looking at the type of sheets you can use to collect data from a questionnaire. Now, tally charts are a useful way of recording data. So mostly people normally use tally charts to record data. But if there is a large range of data values, you need to group them into classes. So we're going to be looking at this later. Now, if two variables are being recorded, you can always use two-way table to record the data. Now, to make sense of what I'm talking about, we're going to be looking at an example. You've got your answers in a questionnaire, and there are hundreds and hundreds of papers from different people. You want to start putting together that information into like a sheet that you can then start analyzing. So let's look at example one to make sense of what we're saying. An assault course is designed to take about 10 minutes to complete. Okay, so every single person that's doing this course, it's basically like an online quiz. Any person who's doing this will take about 10 minutes to complete. Now, design a tally chart that could be used to record the times taken by 100 people. So you've got 100 people in front of you, and you want to take how long each person is basically taking. You want to time how long each person is taking, and you're going to record that. Now, you're going to use a tally chart. So tally chart is the first data collection we're talking about here. Okay. So I want you to pause the video and then just design a tally chart and how it's going to look like for this kind of results. Okay, hope you try that. Now, a tally chart that you're going to use will look something like, it's going to look something like the one in front of you, that one. And I'm going to explain this carefully for you. Number one, you're going to decide the time intervals. And I've decided in the first row here to think about those who are going to take up to 5 minutes. So anything from 0 to 5. Of course, nobody's going to take 0 minutes to do this. It's going to take some time, but there are those who are going to be quick enough to spend just up to 5 minutes. Now, some could take 5 to 10, something more than 5 to up to 10, and others between 10 and 15. Others could even take 15 to 20, and others could also take more than 20. So in my first column here, for the tally chart, I'm going to put the time, the intervals. Then in here, I'm going to have tally. So I'm going to be counting those people that are spending, up to 5 minutes. Let's say, for example, somebody is taking 4 minutes. So that person's going to be here. Another person spending, 3.5 minutes is going to be there. Another person taking 5 minutes. And another one taking 2 minutes, right? So they're all going to be there. So that's going to be 4 people. So I fill that in the frequency. Now for this group here, it's going to be those who are going to take more than 5 minutes, right? So this that's T, this means more than. So the time taken, T means the time taken is more than 5 minutes, but it's less than or equal to 10. So maybe I only have 2 people there. So that can just be 2, okay? And then those who are taking more than 10, but up to 15 are going to go here. Those who are taking more than 15 but up to 20 are going to go there. And anybody who's taking more than 20 is going to go here. Now, even though I'm putting in the frequencies here, these are just randoms, but they have to add up to 100 people because that's what they're saying here, right? So this is the tally chart that you can design for this type of group. The time is continuous data. So when something is continuous, you normally have to use inequality, right? Because we could have somebody taking say for example 5.5 minutes, so 5.5 minutes. So that can be difficult to record unless you're using inequalities. So anything continuous, anything that can take decimal point, we've got to use inequalities like this. Okay. Now make sure there are no gaps between classes and that classes don't overlap. These are the classes we're talking about. So 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15. These are the classes we're talking about. You must make sure that there are no gaps. Now, somebody who is taking 5 minutes will go here. Somebody is taking 5.1 will go in the next one. So there is no gap between this group and that group. So this is up to 5 and this is more than 5, right? Now in this group here, People who are here are up to 15. Those who are here are those that are more than 15. So there is no gap at all. Okay. So make sure there are no gaps and that classes don't overlap. Right. So if you look at these ones, somebody is doing, say, for example, 6 minutes would clearly be ticked here. Somebody is doing, say, for example, 7.5 minutes would clearly go there. Somebody who's taking 30 minutes would clearly go here. So everybody has got somewhere to go and there is no overlap there. Now, you got to leave the last class open-ended to make sure all possible times are covered. So the last one here says that these are people who are taking more than 20. So if somebody is taking 100 minutes, he's still going to go here. So you try to leave this one open-ended. Okay. So this is the tally sheet I will basically use for this kind of question. I would like you to pause the video quickly, and then if you try question one, pause the video and try question one. Okay, hope you've tried that. So for question one, what I will do, it says design a tally chart that could be used to record the answers to each of these questions. How many siblings do you have? And what's your favorite type of fruit? Right. So we're looking at, let's just do it first. So how many siblings do you have? Right. So what you need to have first is a column for tally and a column for frequency, obviously. Now, this column is going to be for the number of siblings you're having. So the number of brothers and sisters you're having here. Some people might not have any brother or sister, so you need to have 0 there. Others could have 1, others could have 2, others could have 3, and then others could have more than 3. Okay, and then you just basically tally them here, and then you put the frequency there. For this one, what transport do you use to get to work? Again, the first column will be about transport they could use. So walking, car, train, bus, bicycle, and then other. So other must be there so that every other person who is not using any of this can fill it up there. Okay. So this is how you can do. These are just examples how you can lay this one out. For C and D, if you want to pause the video and just look at these examples they put down there for you. Okay, if you look at D, it says how many days were there in the month you were born. I want you to look at the last row here. This last row here says 31 because 31 is the maximum number of days you can have in a month. So you cannot say more than 31. You cannot say other. The biggest number is going to be 31. And of course, the smaller number of days in a month will be 28. Yeah. So February is the shortest, and that's 28. So you can't have 27. Right. So I'm going to pause the video and then try question 2 again yourself. Okay. Right. So this is quite easy. So for those who are between 1 and 9 here, all you need to do is to check here and then just basically tell them as you go. For example, this 30 here, if I start with the 30, if I cross it over, 30 is going to go here because that's between 20 to 29. So this is going to be other or more than 29. You can say more than 29, right? Or 30 and above, or just say more than 29. Okay? So that 30 can go here. Now the 56 is also going to go here because it says more. The 4 will go in this here because that's 1 to 9. That's where the 4 is going to go. The 18 is going to go in the 10 to 19 there. So you just basically tally them. Once you tally them, then you just put the frequencies there. Okay. Right. So the answer to that will be that. So between 0 to 9. Okay, so that says 1 to 9. I think there's something wrong with that, but we're just gonna take this. Between 0 to 9 or between 1 to 9 here, they say is I've got 7 people. So if you look at here in this particular data, 7 people are gonna be up to 9 years old. Now, those who are between 10 to 19, they are 4. So if you look at this carefully and did well, then that should be 4, and so on and so forth. Now, I just realized something that there are those that are actually 78 years old, those are 62, those that are quite old. So basically what you need to do here is to basically just carry on with this, right? So you are not to say 30 and above, or you need to say, over 29 here, because I realized there's just so many people here who are also down here. So what I would have done is just basically to carry on with this. And in the last group here, it says 80 to 89, and that must be because the oldest person here, there's nobody who's 90 here, there's nobody who's 100 here. Those who are oldest here are basically in their 80s, so that's going to be the final group. Okay. Now for the last question B says, use your table to find which of this age group is the most common. Now the most common group will be the one that has got the highest frequency. So by looking at this, I can see that majority are in which group? Majority are in age 50 to 59 because that's the highest frequency. So the answer is going to be 50 to 59. That's where you find majority. Okay. Right, so I pause the video and then try question 3A and B. Pause the video, try 3A and B. Right, so hope you try them. So give two things that are wrong with each of these tally charts and design an improved version of each. Chart for recording the number of times people went to the cinema last year. By looking at this straight away, I can see that there's something wrong with this because some people don't go to the cinema. So this should have been 0. Okay, so that should be 0 because if you're saying from 1, you're saying that those who don't go, what are they gonna, where are you gonna put them? So that's clearly wrong with that. Then there's also the overlap, right? There's overlap here because if somebody's going to the cinema 10 times, are you going to put him here or are you going to put it here? Put him here. So there is that overlap there which is not around. That's really wrong. Okay. So the correct answer would look something like that. So that's how they're gonna do. So you can say 0 to 10 and then 11 to 20 because they're not decimal points here. These are discrete values. They can only take whole numbers. So there's nothing like 10.5 or 21.5. They're just taking whole number values because it's a number of trips. Okay. So if that's 10, that has to be 11. If this is 20, that has to be 21. So there must not be any overlap. Okay. Right. So part B, I'm just going to display the answer quickly for part B for you. So then you can see what need to be corrected on that. Okay. So again, if you look at this, the maximum venue capacity is 25,000, but this person is only going up to 20,000. So what about if the capacity was 22,000, 21,000? There is no tally for that. So therefore, you needed to have added this here. Okay, you needed to have added that there. So that's just a couple of things you need to know when you're designing tally charts. But that's going to be the end of this video, and we're going to be looking at more questions in the next video.